The live has started. What's up? Welcome, welcome everyone. Hey Astro Queen. We are going to talk about Mars in today's live. And we're going to talk about Mars moving into Cancer. This is a really, it's going to be a really weird time, you guys. Yep, Pluto enters Aquarius. But we're going to talk about Mars today. And the reason we're going to talk about Mars is because we just had our new moon in Aries. And this new moon is going to be quiet until next week. You're not going to really feel the energy start to kick off until next week. Generally speaking, whenever there is a new moon, the energy is a little bit quiet. Things don't start to really pick up until we build up to that first quarter moon. That's why when a lot of people are practicing anything on the new moon, you should probably wait a day or two. If you're into like wanting to do stuff on new moons, just wait a little bit. You also want to see where the moon is transiting in your chart, but we're off topic. That's not what I want to talk about. I really want to talk about Mars because Mars today is finishing up its transit in Gemini. 7 months. How are we doing? Is anybody tired of thinking about what it is that they want to do? And just sort of, I don't know. I know for me, this has been a big change. A lot of people have been going through a lot of change. They've been rethinking their goals. They've been rethinking everything that they're doing, honestly. This Mars in Gemini has been, 7 months. It's been a crazy time. Damn. If anybody is new to astrology watching this, even after the live, know that, Mars usually does not stay in a sign for this long. It's like 6 weeks or so. It cycles through. But this Mars entered Gemini in August of 2022. And holy shit, we've been spending some time rethinking about everything. And then also just in general, this brought up a lot of conversation. So now we're going to deal emotionally with everything that we've been up to. And that's what we're moving into, okay? This Mars in Cancer is going to be a weird one, you guys. I'm not going to lie, and here's why. Whenever Mars enters Cancer, it expresses its anger in a different way. It comes in waves. Just like, Cancer basically is represented by, cardinal water. That's the energy. So it's going to come in waves. There's a moodiness to it. I'm going to talk about the downside of it, and then I'm going to talk about the upside of this particular transit, okay? The downside of this Mars in Cancer is going to be that moodiness. You're going to be frustrated at a different level, okay? Your frustration over the last 7 months may have been a lot intellectual on your mindset, the way in which you're thinking and talking to yourself, because that's Mars in Gemini. Also, there has been maybe an outward expression in the way in which you are, dealing sort of with frustrations. And that is because Mars in Cancer wants to talk about it, okay? We're going to talk about it, and we're going to be a smart ass about it too, at times. Mars in Cancer is a different story. Mars in Cancer is like, that thing that happened 5 months ago, 5 days ago, 3 weeks ago, you're going to feel the emotions of it now. And they're going to come in. They're going to come in fast. And so there is sort of this moodiness around Mars in Cancer, where the frustration and the expression of that frustration is expressed in a more passive way, and sometimes in a passive aggressive way, okay? So the first couple of degrees as we're rising, Mars in Cancer, the first couple of degrees, so anything from 0 to approximately 9 degrees, 10 degrees, you're going to start to notice stuff coming up now internally about shit that has happened a while back or stuff that's happening in the present moment. Frustration comes up, it comes in fast, and you're going to start to notice the rise of those emotions. Whatever is coming up needs to now come up. It has to be dealt with. But the key words right now are be mindful of what it is that you are creating, because the new moon was at 0 degrees. And if you know anything about the kind of astrology that I do, I focus a lot on the degrees. 0 degrees, what's that? 0 degrees is a scorpionic degree. It is where things need to be protected. You have to be able to trust it. You have to be able to protect it. This new moon in Aries is an initiation in you trusting your own self again. But the way that you might be going about it is going to be different now, because the emotions that are coming up, they might feel a little bit weird or bizarre or new. And of course, you know, Pluto has entered Aquarius as well. And so it's going to sit at 0, okay, until June or July. I can't remember. It's not here for too long. It's going to go back into Capricorn, and there's a reason for it. We'll talk about that later. But right now, with all the 0 degrees, you want to work on trust. And trust issues in general are going to be coming up. Protection energy is going to come up. And then there is another energy that comes with it. And that is, you have the opportunity right now to do things so different, okay? To really take this energy, this Martian energy that we're going to be under, this cardinal water energy that we're going to be under, to get things moving forward in your life in a way where you're just doing it, even if you're frustrated, even if there is something that's coming up that is, you know, it feels like the same old. If you take the opportunity, because 0 is an opportunity. I want you to think of 0 as I don't want to say portal, okay? Because that word has been overused. Don't say portal anymore. Anybody out in the astrology community that keeps using the word portal, stop saying it. I'm calling myself out as well, okay? We're going to have to use different words now that Pluto is going to, you know, go into Aquarius. We're going to start using different words. Okay, 0. Think of 0 as a doorway, all right? But the doorway has to be protected. If you don't protect your shit right now, if you are not protecting yourself, if you are not taking care of what it means to be you, shit's not gonna happen, okay? No portals are opening for you. No portals. And really, when people are saying portal, you know, the one thing, because we're so earthly, you know, I'm such a Virgo, you guys. I'm gonna have to just tell you right now, when people start talking like spiritual shit, sometimes I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about, you know? I don't even know what you just said. Because in reality, portals, what does it look like? A portal is an opportunity. A portal is a change. And oftentimes that change starts internally, and that is the space that we're moving into. All that shit that you've been thinking about with Mars and Gemini, you're now going to start to take that and you're going to start to think about the stuff that was a concept, but what is it actually like in real life? Like, if you take your ideas and you put them into action, what's it going to feel like? Maybe you don't even feel like being, I don't know, a content creator, a hairstylist, you know, whatever it is that you've been thinking about. Even like in the sexual terms, you know, because like Mars is our sex drive. There's like stuff that you have been maybe thinking about, that you've been maybe conceptualizing about. You may have been talking about it. You've been talking to yourself about it. But now when Mars goes into Cancer, you're like, oh, you know, fuck that shit. I'm not doing that, you know. Now it's like, oh, that's really what it's like, you know. Something that you may have glorified, something you've been maybe thinking about. Now the reality is changing. And it's because Cancer is here to remind us that we have to feel also a particular way. We can't just live in a concept world, which is what we're doing anyways right now, 24/7, because we're on social media, every one of us, okay? We're glued to our phones. Whether it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it is that you're watching, 24/7, okay? We're glued to our phones, even in text messages, whatever. We're constantly living in a concept world, and we think that whatever the fuck we see on the screen is real life. And the actuality is that most of the time, I'm not saying 100%, okay? But most of the time, that is not really what it feels like. And so Mars in Cancer is going to be here to tell you that, in real life, this is what it feels like. And then you have to make a choice. Is this something you want to move into, or is it something you don't want to move into? And that's where Pluto comes in, okay? Pluto is like, hey, are you going to make up your mind right now? Because, I'm on a timeline and time's running out, okay? We're in a new territory. You better make up your mind about whatever the fuck you want to do in your life. The stuff that you want to cut out. And that's what I want to remind you, okay? Because Mars cuts things out of our life. Mars is Mars. It's a Martian energy. It's a soldier energy. Okay. Now that we're in the territory of feeling, you're going to see by the way, you're going to see a lot of spiritual pride. A lot of your fights and a lot of the frustrations and a lot of the shit that's going to be going on in your life is going to be about spiritual pride. And don't get caught up in that story. All right. Because what we're doing right now is that we're starting to realize that a part of us, that feeling that we have been constantly holding on to, the way in which we were fighting, the way in which we were doing things in our life, it just can't continue this way anymore. That is the story. That's the new story. And that is the doorway I'm talking about, okay? When you think of zero, you have to be able to protect what it is that you're doing. The new stuff that you're doing in your life, you have to have a good foundation. If you don't have a good foundation, and that is what zero is all about, that's where the new moon was at. Pluto is going to start hitting up other planets at 0 degrees as well. Okay, because it's sitting at 0, it's going to start to hit up other planets at 0. And even though it is a really interesting energy and it's a new energy, this energy is about protection. This energy is about trusting. This energy is about saying that if you really, really, really want certain things in your life to change, which is what the cardinal initiation with Mars in Cancer is going to be about, you got to be able to trust it. You have to be able to lean into it. You have to be able to protect it. You have to have proper boundaries. And so every part of your life that doesn't have the boundary, and I'm talking wherever Mars is in your house, okay? If Mars is in the first house, the boundaries have to do with you and how you're interacting with people. And you might be the person that is, crossing other people's boundaries and the way in which you're portraying yourself. That's the first house. Apply Mars and Cancer into the second house, okay? You're crossing the boundary with money, right? Like the second house is money, it's productivity, it's your self-worth. Other people cross it, you end up fighting about it. These are the types of things that right now you have the opportunity to kind of really take a look at it from a different perspective, from a more bird's eye view. And the reason for that is because, Pluto is there kind of letting us know, hey, the story is changing and your emotions are going to change about certain things as well. And you have to allow for the change to happen. Okay. I hope I made sense. I talked a lot. And I said, don't use the word portal anymore, spiritual community. Okay, you guys, if you don't have any other questions, I'm hopping off. I hope that this was helpful. These are some of the things that we're going to be focusing on. The energy starts picking up next week. Okay? Whatever it is that you need to deal with, allow for it to come up. Allow for things to come up right now in your life, because you are going to notice that you're built, okay? You're built to be here right now. You're built differently and you're built to be here. You're meant to be here. You're meant to do and deal with the things right now in your life. And life has beautiful moments, even the moments that are frustrating, even the moments that are just like, can I keep going like this? If you really take it on that way, you're going to start to see a new beautiful energy moving into your life, because I've always said this and I'll say this again. Even in the times when I was teaching, yoga for a long time, I don't know if you guys know, but I was a yoga teacher, or I still am a yoga teacher, for the past like 20 years. I always tell people, when stuff comes up, when you're in a posture and stuff comes up in that moment and you just feel so frustrated, you want to get out of that posture, that's really when the posture begins. Because you're starting to grapple with what is happening, who you actually are under pressure. Who do you become? Who are you under pressure? You want to get to know that side about yourself. Otherwise, change never happens, okay? Otherwise, the portal's don't open up. Somebody said, I have a question. Ask your question in the chat. I will not be adding you to my life, but ask your question in the chat, okay? You can always ask it in the comments too afterwards. All right, you guys, I'm going to hop off. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this live, and I'm going to see you back here soon, okay? All right, bye.